Alright, welcome to the Straight Red Card. Today, I'm flying solo. And in doing so, we're going to talk about 32 young U.S. eligible players in Europe you may not have heard of. Now, this is going to not be about guys you have heard of, like Sebastian Soto, who doesn't play for Porto too, or Christopher Scott, who I've talked about quite a bit for Bayern, or Taylor Booth, plays for Bayern as well. Or even Timothy his brother, Tillman. It's not about Alex Mighton, it's not about Leonard Maloney, and it's not about the Sonora brothers or Folarin Balogun, who we all pretty much know about at Arsenal's U23s, scoring goals and just occasionally getting to play for Arsenal itself. So let's just dive straight into this. And most of these players I'm going to talk about are playing on really noticeable teams, but you still might not have heard about them because they're in the youth systems. So let's start with John Hilton. He's a fullback. He could play for US or Brazil. He's 20 years old, and he plays for Volendam in the second division in Belgium. And why am I bringing up a second division player in Belgium? Because we've had other guys that have done that prior and then sort of moved up to the next level. So why not John Hilton? He's only 20. He started out at Chivas USA as a youngster. He's played 12 games for them, and he's somebody just to keep an eye on. And during his earlier youth, I think back when he was like 15, 16, 17, he was looked at as potentially one of the best players in his age group. And that's sort of unfortunately not followed that narrative. He's sort of dropped off a little bit. And we see that a lot. There's a certain point, a tilting point. Either you when you get there, you get past it, or you get kind of hung up. And some people have criticized his father, etc., for some of the decisions he's made with his youth career, but I don't know enough about that to talk about that specifically. So let's get to the next one. And we've got two Barca kids, Barcelona. We got Adrian Gill, who's a center midfielder. He's 15 years old, and he was just promoted to the Barca U16s, as was Diego Coche. I can't pronounce his name. He's a USA/Peru kid. He's goalkeeper, and he too was just advanced to the Barca U16s. And he actually got his start at the Weston Academy here in the United States. The next player, Giuli Misitano. He's a center forward. He's 16 years old. He's played 8 games, has 4 goals for Roma's U17s. He's an American and he's an Italian. He can play for either team. Now, what's tough about a lot of these youth players in the last COVID years or the Rona years is that they haven't been able to play. A lot of the youth academy games and leagues were basically shut down because of COVID. So there wasn't a lot for them to do, not a lot of playing time out there. But it's important, I think, we still follow them because more and more they're getting to play a little bit more as time goes on. Next player, Kaylee Avre. He's also a forward. He's 17 years old. He's played 3 games, has 1 assist for Lille's U19s. He's also a recent mover on upper to Lille's U19s. He could play for the United States or France. Patrick Leal is a midfielder. He's 18. He plays for Sporting, their U19 team, and he qualifies to play for USA or Portugal. Jaheim Headley is a left back. He's 20 years old at Huddersfield's B squad or U23 squad. He's only since being bumped up to the U23 squad. He's only played 1 game for them, but he can also play for the United States or Jamaica. And he comes out of the Millwall system, I believe. Aiden Harangi is a defensive mid. He's only 15 years old. He was just recently moved in July from the Eintracht Frankfurt youth system to their U17 program. He's played 2 games, 26 minutes, but he is unfortunately currently injured, so we're going to have to see where that goes. Again, you'll notice Huddersfield, Eintracht Frankfurt, Sporting, Roma, Lille. These are not small teams, something to keep in mind. This player, however, Ty Walker, is a center back. He's 18. He plays for Kaiserslautern's U19. He's played 3 games for them. 1 goal. He's from Indiana Elite, is where he kind of started. Then he went through the New York Red Bull system and the Minnesota United system. He's been around a while. You might say to yourself, well, Derek, Kaiserslautern aren't a very good team anymore. Well, you're right. They aren't. But, historically, they have been, in the Bundesliga. So let's hope, that Kaiserslautern can continue to get promoted and get back to the jolly good days of old. And then we have a bunch of guys at Fulham. So let's start with Eric Amaya. He was a center back. He's 19. He's playing for the Fulham youth squad, U19 squad, or U18 squad. No, it's U23s. I'm sorry. And he's had 6 games and 1 assist. But he could also play for Ghana. Damian Loss, a lot of people probably heard about him. Goalkeeper, Fulham's U23s. He's only played 1 game since being advanced to the U23s at Fulham. He's a Fire Academy kid. He can play for the United States or Poland. Marlon Fossey. At this point, Marlon Fossey's got to get off the pot because he's 23 years old. He's playing for the U23s. He's played 10 games, has 4 assists. He needs to either, move up or get another loan out of Fulham coming soon because he's going to be too old to play for Fulham U23s. And he is a little bit of injury prone as well. Then we have Devon Tanton. He's a right back, 17, plays for Fulham's U18s. 9 games, 3 assists, pretty impressive. Alex Borto, also 16, Fulham U18 player, 4 games, 2 goals. Let in a game, unfortunately, on average, just under that. So we'll see where that goes. He could also play for Poland. I don't know what it is about all the goalkeepers being able to also play for Poland, but that's the case. And he started at the Cedar Stars Academy, I believe. Then that's all the Fulham guys. Then we get to CJ DeSantos, goalkeeper 21, Benfica B. He doesn't play. Started out the Philly Academy, just not playing for the Benfica B. Maybe he's too young, but at this point, at 21, you'd expect him to see a game here and there. Zach Booth is center midfielder, 17 years old for Leicester City's U18s. Again, they didn't get to play much because of the Rona. He's an RSL Academy kid. He could play for the USA or Italy, but I doubt Italy is really in his future. Evan Rotundo is an often forgot about attacking mid. He's 17 years old, plays for Schalke's U19s, recently promoted to the U19 team from the youth squad. He's played 4 games. He's actually a San Diego Surf Academy kid, but he could play for France. That's not really a worry either. Another Leicester kid, like Zach Booth, is Shaturo Odunze. He's goalkeeper, 19, plays for Leicester's U23 teams. He's played twice. He's a Vancouver Academy kid, and he could actually play for Canada. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, he still could do that if he wanted to. Adrian Colon, right back, 17, also at Kaiserslautern's U19s. He's played 7 games and 1 goal. And he could play for Puerto Rico or the United States. And actually, he's already played 1 game, I believe, for the Puerto Rican youth team. That doesn't really mean that much at this point, so I wouldn't worry about it. We'll just keep an eye on him. Nicholas Dossman is a center back, 18 years old, plays at Mainz, U19s. He's played 7 games. He's a Dianza Force kid. But obviously he could also play for Germany. I don't think that's an issue either. These are all kids that, at this point, if you're 18, we're watching Joe Scally, what Joe Scally's doing, right? By this age, you're showing that kind of potential or not. And a lot of these kids that I'm talking about right here are kind of like right at the tipping point. This is when they need to impress. They need to shit or get off the toilet because time is running out. Stefan Saghamonian is 16 years old. He plays for Dusseldorf. He's a forward, plays for Dusseldorf's U19s. 7 games, 1 goal. He's an LAG Academy kid. We got Hoffenheim kid, 2 of them. We got Lucas Tamares, 17, center midfielder. Hoffenheim's U19s. He's also played 7 games with 1 goal. Apparently, he can also play for Italy. And we have Quincy Butler. His older brother didn't really have a great run at Hoffenheim, and he's at Ingolstadt now, not really playing that much. Justin Butler. Anyhow, Quincy is 20. He's a right winger. Plays for Hoffenheim too. And unfortunately for him right now, he has a bad ligament injury, and there's no real timetable on when he's going to be back. But he's a Sacramento Republic Academy kid. And then we go to Max Dietz. I mean, the guy plays a lot for the youth teams. He did for Freiburg too. He's a defensive midfielder. He's 19 years old. Right now, he's not getting any minutes in 3 Bundesliga. And when you're 19 and you're not getting any minutes at 3 Bundesliga, it's time for concern. He could also play for Germany, but that's not happening. Matteo Rotaccio, 20-year-old center midfielder, Liverpool's U23s, recently promoted to there from the Gachi Academy. He's played 4 games, but also could play for Italy. That's not a really concern, but you're not hearing enough. He's been injury prone. He's had several injuries, so we're not hearing a lot about Matteo. Stuart Ritchie, this guy, I'm just surprised, hasn't really moved up the Hanover system any faster than he has, because throughout his whole youth system, as he got up to Hanover's 2 team, he just was recently promoted from the U19s to the 2 team, which is not that great because he's 20 years old. I mean, he had no place else to go. Can't play the U19s anymore. He's a left back, but, throughout the last number of years, he's played 55 games. He has 2 goals, 2 assists, which isn't that impressive, but you would have thought he would have moved up by now if he had that kind of potential. But nope, he's stuck with the Hanover 2 team. Maybe they're just taking it slow. It's hard to say. Dante Seeley is currently on loan from SC Dallas to PSV 2, where he has played 11 games with 5 goals. He's 18. He's a left winger. And he can still play for TNT if he wants to, if it doesn't work out with us. Pablo Soares, 19, center midfielder, Gladbach 2, has not played any games for Gladbach 2 since being promoted to the 2 team. He could play for Germany and has in the past. Michael Wenzel, also 19, center back, also Gladbach 2. He's played 15 games. He's preferred to mostly be interested in playing for the United States, but he can still play for Germany. Malik Sinogo, I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with him now. 17-year-old center forward for Union Berlin's U19s. He's played 8 games, 2 goals, 1 assist, and he's pretty much committed to us, which is good. Let's hope he turns out. Kevin Bright, 18 years old, midfielder, AC Milan's U19s, 11 games, 2 goals. Could still play for Italy. I don't see that happening. I'd like to get all these kids to get a lot more playing time once the Rona gets under control, and it'll be a little easier to tell where they are. But a lot of them got cheated out of the last year and a half of play. So that means they might have gotten cheated out of a year and a half of development as well. And the last player on this 32-man list is John Tompkinson. He's 19. I have high hopes for this kid. He is a center back, a big kid. Moved to Norwich as U23s. He's played 9 games. He has 3 goals. I think a couple of them were headers from corner kicks. I'd like to see him move up and get a shot this season at a game or 2 for Norwich, especially when the season's lost. I think then that's the time to play some of your young guys, and we're not far off from the season being lost already. I know, it's a little exaggeration. Anyhow, those are 32 young U.S.-eligible players in Europe you may not have heard of. I would keep an eye on them if you can. Give them a search every once in a while and see how they're doing. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, have a great weekend, and we'll be back on Monday with Brian Schroeder. All right, take care.